Hey Frank, it's great to see you. Hey, I really appreciate you having us in for this meeting today. Last time we spoke, you kind of said about 30 minutes would fit your schedule. Is that still the case? Great, great. So, the last time we did speak, you mentioned that your organization is looking to modernize its IT, and we're facing some challenges along that process, and we're hoping that we'd be able to help you out with that. Is that still the case, and that really kind of the scope for our discussion today? Great, great. So since that conversation, I came across a statistic that Gardner had published in regards to IT organization, infrastructure, and operations maturity. And of the people surveyed, the IT executive surveyed, the average rating, in regards to where they were at and where they wanted to be was really 2.31 out of 5. And really only 10% of customers rated themselves as 3.0 or higher. So as part of our conversation today, I'd kind of like to talk about your approach to towards modernization and any roadblocks that you're facing, and how we might be able to help accelerate that process for you. So I'm going to use your whiteboard here if you don't mind, but last time we spoke, you conveyed to me that you had 3 primary business objectives that you wanted to achieve. We're going to label this our discussion here, our quest for modernization. And those business goals that you conveyed were, 1, we wanted to increase business performance, right? We also wanted to increase user satisfaction. And lastly, we wanted to reduce security risk. Did I capture those correctly? Were there any additional ones that you wanted to discuss today? Great. Well, then let's talk about your current situation and kind of what I see across the various clients that I work with, and talk about some of those similarities that they have that might map to yours. So we're going to start out here, and this is kind of really where most customers start. The traditional approach, right? And we're all on they're all on a continual path to modernization, and we'll make this our end goal, right? Modernization. We'll just call this modern. But they're facing some serious roadblocks along the way. The first of those roadblocks has to do with visibility, right? Oftentimes they have like 20 to 30 different discovery tools. They're walking around with clipboards and barcode scanners, but really despite all of those efforts, they're only seeing about 80% of the assets that are connected to their network. So it's not for a lack of trying, but you think about missing that many assets, the economic risk. Am I paying for enough licenses? Am I overpaying for licenses? That sort of thing. And the security risk of not knowing what's out there, right? The second obstacle that they tend to face is silos within the organization, right? Everybody's got some piece of the pie, and they're not always sharing, right? So, and they have different reporting tools, and there's, always, when people do finally get together, there's often like question between, you know, which report is the most authoritative, and trying to figure out, you know, which one is correct and the differences between the two. So the question is at that point is like, are all these disparate reporting tools providing, you know, valuable insight into the environment, right? And can they actually take and tweak that information as needed? And to, you know, in order to draw real-time insights, right? And the last thing that I want to talk about is we often see organizations supporting one user at a time. And on top of that, you know, one device at a time. So this disconnectedness between tools and departments and processes, it not only creates inefficiencies, but unnecessary risk for the organization. You know, time to productivity suffers, the end user can be very disjointed, and very often, you know, they'll take matters into their own hand and go outside of IT to get what they need. Does it sound pretty familiar to some of your dilemmas right now? Yeah, so, well, let's take a look now at really the costs to the organization due to these particular scenarios. So, you know, really the question would be, why now? So, excuse me, you know, not seeing your entire estate really makes it tough when vendors come calling with their third-party consultants, and they want to do a license review and true up, right? Will you have the information you need in those situations, or are you going to get stung with higher licensing costs and unbudgeted lump sum payment, right? So, overspend. Unplanned dollars, right? And you know, ultimately, the different stakeholder groups are going to need to pay for, you know, the overages. They're not happy when they don't have good visibility and transparency. And on that point, I'm assuming that your IT staff will also become or can be disenchanted when they don't have good information about what's on the network and what's not being accounted for, right? And then when the business comes knocking for support, it you know, they have to deal with that, right? So, and it's also not fun, you know, dealing with frustrated end users who feel that they're not receiving, you know, the same level of support that they're used to seeing on the consumer side. All right, so stakeholders. IT staff and customers. And then last, you know, when you're not tracking all the assets on your network and the proliferation of apps and devices brought in by the users, this can pose a serious, you know, security exposure risk to the business, right? So put a little lock on there for security, right? So let's take a look though how we can change this situation, right? By taking a different approach. So we've been able to help clients accelerate their modernization initiatives by addressing these roadblocks head on. We provide solutions that allow you to discover % of the assets that are connecting to the network. We also then can take data from multiple data points and aggregate them into a centralized dashboard view that provides valuable insights to your users. This is a little light bulb if you couldn't tell. call this Provide Insights. And because our systems are integrated for you, we make it easy for your team to easily take action on those insights. And we can help you move towards a fully integrated systems that address and automate many of the processes surrounding the user, right? So we make for a better user experience, and then we can also, help the user help themselves by, providing service catalogs and software portals so that they can move at their own pace, within the environment, while still allowing IT to maintain the control necessary to reduce the risks and, improve in efficiencies, right? Ultimately, both the end user and the IT staff win, right? So let's talk a little bit about how or what solutions we can provide to, help you achieve this desired, outcome. So what we call, I forgot to label this guy, call that take action. So through the combination of all of these elements, we can help you address 85% or better of your security vulnerabilities within your environment, and we refer to this as operational security. And our IT asset management, our IT service management, mark these down, IT service management, our dashboards and analytics, our endpoint management, and endpoint security. All combined come together to help eliminate risk, improve your business performance, and increase your stakeholder satisfaction, your three objectives here, right? So, there's a lot of vendors out there. You may be wondering, well, why would I choose Avanti, right? Well, I want to leave you with four different reasons, 4 different points here. First, we're experts in modernizing IT. We take a holistic approach to modernizing IT. We partner with our customers, which gives them a unique access to our technology, processes, and people. We have an integrated portfolio. Our solutions are designed and implemented across a broad base of platforms and devices, and gives you universal coverage in the enterprise, right? So it's designed to grow with you, right? Rapid time to value. Our solutions are designed to be easy to install, and they rapidly provide a return on your investment and value to our customers, right? And then the last bit is customer closeness. And customer closeness is it's an organizational principle from our CEO down, right? You'll see it in our user conferences, our online communities, our advisory consoles. It's basically part of everything that we do. But I don't want you just to take my word for it. One example I'd like to share with you is with one of our customers, Sealed Air. They were facing some challenges that we helped them out with, right? They wanted to eliminate manual processes and the low performance tools that they were using. They were imaging PCs by hand. It was very inefficient, and they were having trouble distributing software and tracking licenses. We implemented the Avanti management suite, and the results that they saw were really cost avoidance savings to the tune of almost $1 million. It was about $950,000. They could re-image new PCs from any location. Pretty much the solution is paid for itself. So let's talk a little bit more about the next steps, right? Based on my experience, these are the three things that I see as our next steps, and you can add to this if you wish. But first we'd want to come and do an assessment of your current situation. Do some next steps planning, right? And last but not least, certainly not least, is sponsorship. In my experience doing this, to really truly be successful in these efforts, we need to have someone on your side that will sponsor us, help us transcend any roadblocks as we start to approach some of the other stakeholders in the organization, and help us to just kind of navigate that. Is that something that I can expect from you, to help sponsor me and Avanti? Great. Then based on what we've discussed here, let's take a look at our calendars and see if we can set a tentative date for our next meeting, and then we can kind of work backwards from there to see what we need to happen before we meet next. Sound good? Great. Thanks.